Hey everybody, provide the answers for homework 14 today. I think Rod already has these posted up. He has his answers on there, but not the Venn diagram. So I'm going to go through the Venn diagrams. So we have to, it'll be 2 videos. I did 5 and 5 out of the 10 questions. I've already put these into standard form, but again, if you have a question on something, I may be wrong, just shoot me an email. I'll highlight the premise indicators and conclusion indicators. We have to name the form, so the mood and the figure. So I put a couple of our keys over here, just the figures I remember, the graphs, the shapes I remember in my head. And then, yeah. We'll test validity using the Venn diagrams. You don't have to go through the rules unless it's invalid, but I encourage you guys just to do both. It's good to kind of check yourself, and also it's just handy practice because we'll be doing both throughout the semester. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first one, let's go ahead and name them first. And I always go through and just underline the distributed terms because it's handy when you get to the end and then you have it all there. So again, these are in standard form because as a premise indicator, we may conclude that is the conclusion indicator. So our second sentence is going to be the conclusion, and then you go from there with the major premise on top. All right. So we have A statement, A statement, A statement. Subject term is distributed in A statements. So let's go ahead and fill out the Venn diagram. All R are T. All P are R. All P are T, so we go over to the 2-circle Venn diagram for the conclusion. And sure enough, this shape right here, the crescent moon on the left, is completely filled in over on the right side. Again, we have extra information, that's okay, as long as we get what we're looking for in the conclusion. So this argument is valid. And again, for practice, let's just go through and double check with the rules. So the first rule, anything distributed in the conclusion has to be distributed in the premise. P is the only thing distributed in the conclusion, and it's distributed right there in the second premise. So we're good there. The middle term has to be distributed at least once. R is the middle term, it's distributed here, so we're good there. Existential fallacy, we have all universal statements, so we're good there. And then we also have all affirmative statements, so the one-for-one fallacy doesn't come into play, so we're good. No D or actually let's go ahead and name this again. I've already put it in standard form, so E, A, E. Sorry, I just realized we didn't name this one. So this one is AAA1, first Barbara. And it's 1 because the middle terms are going down to the right. That figure right there, that's number 1. So AA1, first Barbara, E, A, E, and then we have the same thing. We have the middle terms, diagonal. EAE1. Let's fill in the Venn diagrams. No D or U. Eliminate football shaped. All R are D. And then what it's asking for in the conclusion, no R are U. We're looking for this football shape. It's all filled in over here. So this is valid. Let's go ahead and check the rules just to double check. So everything distributed, let's go ahead and both there, both there. The first term is distributed in the A statement. So R distributed up in the second premise. U is distributed in the first premise. Middle term is distributed here in the first premise. We have existential fallacy. We have all universal statements, so we don't have to worry about that. And then we have a negative, affirmative, negative. So one negative premise, one negative conclusion, which is what we have to have. So we're good. So it is indeed valid. All R, E, A, I. First, the subject in the A statement is distributed, and then nothing else, because nothing is distributed in the I. So, we have A, I, the middle term is E. Once again, that's a 1. Alright, so let's fill in the Venn diagram. All E are R. Eliminate this part at the bottom. Some C are E. So there's the crossover, and we've already eliminated this area over here, so the X has to go in that middle spot. And then the conclusion, some C are R. So we're looking for an X somewhere in that football. And we have it. Doesn't matter if it's up here or down here, as long as it's in that football, we're all good. So that one is valid. Let's go through the rules. Again, nothing's distributed in the conclusion, so we don't even have to check for the first rule. The E is the middle term, and that's distributed in the first premise, so we're good there. Existential fallacy is only if you have two universal premises and a particular conclusion. But we have a particular premise here, so we're good. And then all of these are affirmative, so we don't have to worry about the one-for-one fallacy. So we're good, it's valid. All right, next one. So we have some E or C, that's an I statement, A statement, I statement, and C is our middle term. That's going the other direction. That's number 4. So we have I, A, I, 4. Let's go ahead and fill out the Venn diagram. So we do the universal first, since we have one of each. All C are R. Eliminate all of the C circles that's not in the R circle. Some E are C. So again, we've already blacked out this part, so it has to go right there in the middle. Conclusion, some R are E. So anywhere has to be an X somewhere in that football. Just like the last one. Doesn't matter if it's up here or down here, as long as we have an X somewhere in that football, it is valid. All right, we'll double check our, nothing's distributed there, first one's distributed there, and nothing in the conclusion. So again, same as the last one, nothing's distributed in the conclusion, so we're good with the first rule. C is the middle term, that's distributed in the second premise. So we're good with the distribution rules. We have a particular conclusion, so we don't have to worry about existential fallacy. And we have affirmative, affirmative, affirmative. We don't have to worry about the one-for-one. So we're all good. Last one, we have A. Those are all affirmative. First term is distributed in each one. So we have name the form. We have AAA for the mood. And then the figure, we look at the middle term. That's E. That's the first shape there. So AAA1, another first Barbara, which you'll know right away. It's a common thing. You'll you'll know the first Barbara is always valid, but let's go through the steps. Yep. So all E are M. Shade the crescent moon on the bottom. All R are E. Crescent moon on the top. And then what we're looking for in the conclusion, all R are M. So this shape, this crescent moon on the left, transfer that over, and indeed it's all filled in. So we're valid. And again, just to double check the rules, R is the only thing distributed in the conclusion. It's distributed here. We're good. E is the middle term. It's distributed in the first premise. We're good on the distribution rules. We have all universal statements, so we don't have to worry about existential fallacy. And we have all affirmative statements, so we don't have to worry about one for one. Next video will be 6 through 10.